David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another fountain pen review. Today, I have something a bit different for you. I don't just have one pen to share, I have 16. And the total value of these luxury offerings is about $45,000. So these are some very nice pens. They are from a relatively new line of luxury pens from Tassia called Palisades. Palisades is a sister brand to Tassia. The goal of the brand is to offer a variety of Japanese-made urushi and makie pens at affordable prices. Now, when I say affordable, when it comes to the high-end art of urushi and makie, affordable can sometimes be a relative term. Some of these pens can be very expensive. In regard to the pens you will see today, they range in price from just under $1,000 all the way up to a bit under $3,000. But the majority are in like the $1,300 to $1,400 range. I first showcased a number of Palisade pens almost a year ago. In that review, I mentioned that if you are not familiar with Pacific Palisades, it's an area of Los Angeles, California. It's right between Malibu and Santa Monica. If you're familiar with the video game Grand Theft Auto 5, which takes place in San Andreas, which is a fictionalized version of Los Angeles, Michael's psychiatrist lives in an area of the map called Pacific Bluffs, which is inspired by Pacific Palisades. It's also where the very first mission of the game takes place with Franklin and Lamar. I'm very much looking forward to GTA 6 arriving hopefully sometime in 2025. Okay, let's take a look at some pens. And the best way to do so is if you would please join me over here at camera 2. Okay, we have 16 pens to go over, so I'll get right to it. Now, these pens are split up over 5 different models, so I'm going to be grouping them together a bit. Rather than mentioning the price for each of these pens, I'll just put it up on the screen. A note to start, with high-end unique offerings like this you are about to see, sometimes availability of inventory on the Palisade Pens website will vary. If you have ever tried ordering from other high-end urushi offerings through companies like Nakaya or Danny Trio, you'll know that there are times when there is inventory and then there are extended period times when certain pens are not available. So if there is something that you like that is not currently up on the Palisades website, you can reach out to the company to ask when it might be back in stock. To lead off, we have 6 pens from a collection that I was excited to check out, and that is the Yuzen collection. And check this out. This is called the Sapphire Cumulus. The base of this pen is ebonite. I just think this vibrant sapphire blue is really stunning. It just really pops. And as you can see, there is a bit of visual texture to it as well. It's not just a flat, consistent color. This twisting design kind of reminded me a bit of the Visconti Divina, which is one of my favorite Visconti models. At the bottom here, where is it? You have the signature of the artist who produced this pen. These are each limited editions of 33 pens. The artisans are in Wajima, Japan, and they were inspired to create a pen with a silk-like wavy or delicate spiral surface using a lacquer technique called dry urushi. Each of these Yuzen models has an 18-karat gold nib, and it's a 2-tone nib, and they are available in either fine, medium, broad, zoom, or a music nib. These nibs are branded Palisades, but are produced by Sailor. So this is a Sailor nib, and these are cartridge converter pens, and a Sailor compatible converter is provided. But if you would care to use cartridges, you'll need to make sure that you're using those under the Sailor brand, which you can see has this more wide opening. Okay, so that is the first one. Let's go ahead and just set that up here. Next up, we have the Tamanuri model. Tamanuri is one of my favorite urushi applications with the lighter color peeking through the wavy edges here. It just adds to another interesting element to this already intriguing design. Then this one here is called Aurora Foil. And this one has a fascinating application, which almost feels like a very thin, transparent layer of mother of pearl with the rainbow of colors contained within. It really provides a different look at every angle when you're looking at this pen. This one, oh, excuse me. This one here is called the Konaku, which has an interesting combination of various shades of red on a black background. Then this one here is called the Copper Cumulus, which has a really nice coppery red exterior. I just think that one is interesting as well, and the material does have some depth to it. And then finally, we have one with a bit of a different urushi application. You know that if I attempted to pronounce this one, I would just butcher it, so the name is here on the screen. It refers to a traditional technique used in Japan to create exteriors of walls. Think of it like fancy stucco. It's a mixture of natural clay, sand, and straw, which is applied over some bamboo and then tied between support beams. And that technique has been replicated here on this pen using urushi lacquer. You can see that this pen has a fair amount of texture to it, with lots of little nooks and crannies. Here at the top, it is gold, and then it transitions into more of a kind of a tan color. And then at the bottom, it transitions into some green, with crevices still having that tan color. And then the section is more of a solid color, but it still has a little bit of texture to it, but not the same pitted texture as on the rest of the pen. But I think overall, this makes for a very interesting collection. Like just barely fitting in there, but there, that looks for a nice collection. Okay, 6 pens down, 10 more to go. Next up, we have 2 pens from the Kaga collection, and those would be the Tamanuri and the Starry Night. I think you could tell which one is the Tamanuri and which one is the Starry Night. There's a couple of things different about the Kaga collection. First of all, you can see these prominent coins that are here on the caps. They almost look like wax seals. The seal looks like a bit of a representation of a flower, but it's a bit more geometric in design. These are metal, and as you can see here, they're slightly raised, but they're not raised enough to act as roll stops, though. I like how the one on the Tamanuri model has a bit of color variation in there, just like on the pen itself. But one of the other major differences about the Kaga lineup is that these are piston fillers, as you can see right here. While I love the Tamanuri, the Starry Night is spectacular as well. Let me set this down here. That it has a lot of Raiden shards inlaid in the deep black urushi. You know, at first I thought the patterning on this was a bit random, but upon further review, as I twist this, you can see that there is a spiraling pattern in here, just like you might see a faraway galaxy in the night with outlying stars and kind of non-defined borders. I like this pen more after I noticed this subtle twisting pattern. I don't believe that either of these pens are up on the Palisades website right now. Since these are both numbered 0 of 0, I believe that these would probably be artist proofs, so I'd look for these to be available at a later point in time, but they are very nice. Okay, next up we have 3 pens from the Octagonal collection, and these are pretty incredible. First up, we have the Kohaku. You can see that this pen has an octagonal shape, so the model is appropriately named. This Kohaku has a deep copper foil-like treatment. I'm a big fan of the lighter edges to the facets. While this one is nice, the other 2 are the stars in this particular model. They are the Chinken Hummingbird and the Chinken Eagle. Let's take a look at the Hummingbird first. If you don't recall from one of my previous videos, the Chinken technique is one where a very talented artisan actually carves into the pen, creating crevices, which are then filled with different powders and made from gold or silver or other materials. Let's see how close we can get here and if you can see the crevices that are made. It's a little easier to see them on the flowers, but each of those areas there is cut out and carved out, like each of those dots are carved out and then filled with that material. And just take a look at this hummingbird. This is just spectacular. The radiance of this blue is amazing, and it just really brings these birds to life. The detail is stunning. For these models, the artwork actually extends to the section right here, which is nice. And that these are cartridge converter pens. Again, compatible with Sailor compatible parts. Then next up, we have the Chinkin Eagle. Again, the detail on this pen is very cool. I love the little blue spots here in that kind of represent the sky. And then there's the leafless branches here at the top of the pen, and then here at the bottom. I can almost feel the crisp winter air as this eagle soars through the sky. Okay, one more group to go, and the last 5 pens are from the Oblique collection. To begin with, we have this one here called the Raiden Eggshell. As you can see, like the octagonal models, these have 8 facets, but these are twisted about 1/4 of a rotation. On this pen, we have alternating facet treatments. We have the eggshell, which I am a big fan of. The painstaking precision necessary in order to hand lay each of these pieces of eggshell is just mind-boggling. Then we have a facet of black, followed by one with some Raiden in it. This is just a very cool and interesting look, no matter which angle you look at it. And the eggshell and Raiden combination is something that I've always enjoyed when it's done right. For this model, the Raiden has actually been extended to the section, which I feel looks very nice as well. And this model is a cartridge converter as well. Then, after that, we have the Sapphire Cumulus. Let's leave this up here. We have the Sapphire Cumulus. I have quickly fallen in love with this vibrant blue, and I just really love that it's not just a flat blue. There is just a lot going on here that provides a great deal of subtle nuance to this pen. And then next up might be my favorite of this bunch, which is the Northern Light. I love the way this Raiden cascades from the ends with smaller and smaller pieces, and in the middle how they're just flakes. I also like how the Raiden flakes are included in the top and the bottom of this pen. The Raiden flakes extend onto this section. And at the bottom of the section, there we have the signature. This one here is a limited edition of 8 units. And I do like the choice to place the signature here. Anywhere else on this pen might have broken up the look a bit. So while it's a bit unusual, I agree with the placement decisions. Okay, 2 more to go. We have the Aurora Foil, which is a treatment we saw previously on a different model. I think the combinations of blue and green and gold and copper and purple just make for a wonderful combination. No 2 pens are ever going to look alike with this treatment. And then finally, we have the Wajima Cloth in Crimson Red. On the exterior of this pen, like the name indicates, it's an image of a square piece of red cloth. It makes for a nice contrast against the black of the rest of the pen. In addition, the cloth has a bit of texture to it, so it adds an interesting tactile element to the pen. I also like how the red is extended to the section, except for the section doesn't have the same tactile feeling as the exterior. Okay. So that was a lot of pens. Let's do a quick writing sample with one of them. You know what? Let's actually do 2 writing samples here. This first one is the Palisades. And this is the Oblique. Northern Light. And this is a broad 18 karat gold nib. And the ink is one of my favorites, which is Pilot, Iroshizuku, Konpeki, I end up using this ink a lot. And in regard to the writing sample, I will say this 18 karat gold nib is very pleasant. You can see you can get a decent amount of line variation out of here. The ink flow is decent. And in regard to reverse writing, it's a bit sharp and a little bit of an extra fine line. And in regard to some fast writing, this nib is just really pleasant to use. It has some really nice feedback to it. And I do enjoy this broad nib. It's kind of between a Western medium and a Western broad. But for when it comes to Japanese pens, that's more on the broad side. And then we have the octagonal hummingbird. And let me go up here just a little bit, and we'll just do a quick writing sample. And this is the hummingbird. And this is a fine 18 karat gold nib. And the ink that we're using here is the one of my absolute favorites, which is Tassia's Saba Midori. Which is just an incredible ink that goes on a bit blue and then turns a little bit more green. Yeah, this fine nib is outstanding as well. So there you have a look at a number of offerings from the Palisades collection. Let me know in the comments below what your favorites are. For me, if I had to narrow this down to 3 favorites, I think that the Sapphire Cumulus from the Yuzen collection, as well as the Northern Light from the Oblique collection, and then just for sheer impressiveness, the Chinken Hummingbird from the Octagonal collection is one of my favorites as well. This vibrant hummingbird feathers are just simply stunning. A big thanks go out to Tassia for the loan of about $45,000 worth of pens. I am looking forward to sending these back because the longer I hold on to them, the more I feel like not sending a couple of these back, which could be very dangerous to my wallet. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.